This is 29th of December 2017, and it's a heck of a nice day today, so I thought I would take care of this little problem here. Ever since I put up this retaining wall, it's all well and good, but I want to continue that walk so that it joins up with this front stoop. And I've got this big concrete footing that holds up part of the roof here for the front pergola. And I've got a bunch of rocks, nice rocks, and I want to join the front end of this retaining wall with this concrete, but it's so big, it sticks out there at least a foot and 16 inches. And I would like to run rocks across the front of it, but because of the grade and all, it just wouldn't look too good. So I'm going to chop the front of that off. I don't think it should be too much problem, but it's just nasty work using this saw, or this angle grinder. It's got fitted with the concrete blade. It's messy and noisy, whatever, but I'm going to have to chop that off, and we'll see how we go with that. Well, it's not going too bad. Lesson number one, though, put up a shield so you don't mess up your neighbor's wall. Pretty messy. Luckily it hosed off, but it was pretty bad. Wow. I don't know if you can see this, but look at the state I'm in. I am Mr. Mudman. But it's done, happily. Didn't come out too bad. Here's all the concrete I took off of it. What I'm going to use are a lot of rocks that I have like this. What used to be a creek bed that I made out back that never really worked, and the pump is burned out now. So I've got a lot of these rocks, and it'll look like the rest of these here. So this is going to be the source of the rocks for the wall out front there, around that post. The wall came out pretty nice, I think. Get my shadow in here, I don't like that, but the sun's over there. And come out looking pretty good. Always surprises me. Now the next step is to get these little risers done up so I can continue the pavers there. These these are all have to be cut off when they get the right levels. And this one here is one I found when I was scraping it down. It's a sewer access, so I'll have to make a riser for that one. Some bits that I've got, and once I get those done, I can start leveling this out with this dolomite. And I got some pavers over there, but I've got more in another place. And I'll continue these pavers all the way to the front stoop here. Well, now these are all formed up, ready for concrete to be poured around. 3 of them. These 2 in the picture, and that one. That was a concrete, I guess, easel. It's not very deep, it's not really a pit. But because that isn't really plumbing, it's not sewer or stormwater, it's just an earthing rod, and I think there's a pipe in there at the bottom. Anyways, I'm just going to reuse that concrete easel, and over there there's a lid for it. And that was buried here already, over the top of this one. And these are all formed up. Those tops of the forms are at the top of where the pavers are going to go. And tomorrow I'll get some bags of premix or dry concrete and mix it up and pour those up, let them dry, and then I can put the dolomite here and some other that I got, and make a nice little area for the pavers. Well, on a beautiful day like this, there's nothing else I'd rather do than work on concrete, but it came up alright. Did some cleaning, found to make sure the tops of the pit covers are nice and white, but I think they'll come up fine. It took 3.5 bags of concrete. I was surprised. It looks like it's nice and flat now. The level there, this is not level, but it's flat. I just wanted to make sure it didn't have any dips. And there's a slight incline down toward the front stoop. There's also an incline coming down from the side of the house up there. I've got the pavers set up so that I know I've got right depths on these concrete plinths, whatever you want to call them, that are on the plastic pipes. I'm going to redo the whole thing. It's going to be narrow up there and fairly wide down here. I think I got it. Now I just have to wet it down. I'm not going to really compact this at all. All I'm going to do is just wet it down a couple of times, stomp on it, and that should settle it good enough. It's just a footpath. I'm not going to have any vehicle traffic or anything on it. Yeah. Okay. The pavers are down, and I think they're straight. I would have liked to have a straight edge instead of the wavy edge on the side here, but it was just too hard to do. I didn't want to use and cut that many bricks. Where I could, I made these square, and sometimes where it was easier, I just left them the way they were because they're still clearance. This won't line up perfectly. It's good enough. It's just a footpath. There's the end of it. Now what I have to do is use some of these bags of concrete. Pavers don't like to stay in place unless you somehow lock them in place. The way they do it is a concrete edging here along the sides of these pavers. And concrete itself though is fine, but it will still crack and break apart. So you have to use reinforcement. I've made this out of some 100mm mesh. Coated in 100mm mesh. I had some of this wire left over from a tomato trellis, and I'll just be chopping that up, and I've got some other, and I'll just lay it in the path when I get it kind of hollowed out here. Have a nice place for concrete to go. I'll lay that in there, then I'll lay in the mesh. That'll keep the concrete from splitting and breaking up. It'll still crack, but it won't move away. all got the nice gravel edging now. This is just dirt that I've smoothed out from down here. It looks okay, I think. Got this all filled in up here too. Now I just have to put sand into the joints between bricks. Sweep that in, and the sand will lock everything in place really well, fill the gaps, and weeds and grass and stuff shouldn't grow up through it very easily. Put some sand down, spread it evenly. Tap it into place. Okay, do that. Sand, push the sand around again one more time. Do it again. So after nearly 2.5 months, I've got a new fence and a new retaining wall. And up to the front, finished up the footpath, fixed up all the plumbing that was under here, stormwater, sewer, and some pavers, and a nice retaining wall down here, dry rock wall. Finished that all off. Yeah, big project, big ticket item finished.